Welcome to Goals with Soul in 2023. I'm Joanna Ingram and this is Be Magnetic Week. Every day I'm sharing one of our most downloaded manifesting episodes so you can dial up your conscious creator energy to have the business and life you desire, even if you're an overthinker like me. And if manifesting your business success is on your heart and in your vortex for 2023, there is no strategy more essential than creating and expressing your authentic and aligned brand message. Your message powers the energy and intention that attracts your soul-aligned clients, and articulating your truth is the gateway to your next level income results for your coaching business. Being a brand that evokes trust is more important than ever, and all your marketing activity will be more enhanced when you focus on your messaging as priority. I want to help you create your wildly successful results this year starting now. And if you're ready to elevate your client attraction with aligned brand messaging, then access my free on-demand training for coaches, the Magnetic Messaging Masterclass. You'll discover your missing messaging piece to sign soul clients, raise your prices, and stand out in your industry without self-doubt or wasting time and money on audience growth. Simply sign up now by clicking the link in the show notes or go straight to joannaingram.link/masterclass to immediately access the Magnetic Messaging Masterclass. Your message is you. So let's get that clarity to show up as your most courageous, visible self and call in those clients that are meant for you. And now, let's get manifesting. At the moment, I'm decorating my bedroom. Now, I just want to put this in context for you. I moved into my house about 4 years ago, and it's a really old house. It's actually Edwardian, and I think it was built in 1906, something like that. And it needed quite a bit of work doing to it. The lady who'd owned it before was quite elderly, and she'd done work quite a while ago. And, just things were not so good. The electrics, the roof, you get the idea. Anyway, we did all the work that we had to do, and we decorated and we put in the new bathrooms. We gave the kids each a beautiful bedroom. And of all the things we did, there was one thing that just never got done. And that was mine and my husband's bedroom. But not only did we not decorate it, but honestly, I'd have been embarrassed to show you it. We'd had the electrics done, so there was a lot of plaster patches on the wall. And the lady who'd lived there before had chosen blue curtains that didn't actually fit and had some holes in them. It was quite frankly not a place of serenity or relaxation. It wasn't a place that you would choose to sleep and to represent your relationship. And yet 4 years passed before we did anything about it. It just seemed like there was always something more important, and we always deprioritized doing our bedroom. As a parent, you can totally get how this happens so easily. What surprised me was that 4 years had passed. Okay, there was a pandemic in the middle, but even so. So when we got to this year, we were like, no more. This bedroom is going to get done. And I dived into coming up with all these different ideas and decorations and what's it going to look like. And decided that I was going to be bold. I was going to go with this new trend that has a really dark colour that goes along the walls and right over the ceiling, including all the woodwork in the same colours. Because it's an Edwardian house, there's lots of coving and picture rails and things like that. And there's going to be a beautiful ceiling rose and an original fireplace. And I felt really good about it. But everything hinged on also painting the fitted wardrobes the same colour. Now, these wardrobes are not to my taste. They've been fitted in by one of these companies that comes in and fits it all out in a very dated way, in my opinion. And so I was thinking, what can I do to make these wardrobes kind of disappear? I couldn't really remove them because the bare bones of them is so useful. It holds everything, all our clothes. And if I pulled them out and replaced them with smaller wardrobes, it just wasn't going to cut it. So I just need to make them vanish by painting them the same colour as the walls. The problem is, of course, is that they're slightly shiny material. I don't know what it's called. But the point is that you can't just paint them. You have to do something a little bit different. A good primer or perhaps a spray paint. Now, I didn't let this bother me because solutions come up, right? But as the job started, and I'm in the middle of the job now, the builder said that he would not paint them, that he'd never be able to get a good finish, and he just didn't want to get involved. And so I decided, no probs, my husband will paint them. Now, Ivan's pretty good at some DIY, and he's done a fair amount of jobs around the house. But this was going to be a lot of work. And he's a busy guy. He works in corporate. He's also a passionate musician. And all in all, I knew it was going to be hard work. And then I heard that you can actually get these things spray painted. Now, bear with me, because there is a big lesson in all of this. And the point is that I wanted to get them spray painted professionally and decided that this wasn't a problem. I even spoke to a company. I understood how much per square meter. And I was like, yeah, no props. Until me and Ivan measured the wardrobes. Now, I'm not kidding you. Just to spray paint these wardrobes was going to cost well over $2,000, actually £1,700. And I was like, no, this isn't going to fit with the budget. Ivan said, well, this is the same amount we're paying the builders to do the plastering and all the work. I don't want to pay this just to have the wardrobe sprayed. So we went back to plan A, which was him doing it. And my goodness, it went round and round. I got quite upset. True. We get attached to the outcome of the projects that we do. True for DIY, just as true for our business. We get attached with having it in an exact way. And I started to feel anxious about the finish that Ivan was going to create and whether he'd do it in a time frame that was going to work, because of course we're decamped. We're sleeping in my office right now. So it's like, how are we going to get this to work? And I was feeling a little bit hopeless and frustrated and felt really negative about the whole project. I just didn't even want to do it anymore. I'm actually sitting in the car right now outside the decorator centre, having picked up the dark paint for the walls. And last night I didn't even want to come, didn't want to do it at all, because I was having a little tantrum. I was throwing my toys out the pram. I want those wardrobes the colour I want them, and I want them done as professionally as possible, and I don't want to pay to have them sprayed. And he just kept going round and round. And Ivan said, well, perhaps you could just paint them a different colour. I was like, no. I'm really attached to having them the same colour. And then I sat down with my daughter, Kitty. She's nearly 18. And she's super wise. She was just chatting to me about different options, and I was showing her the colours. And as we were chatting, I know this isn't going to sound big, but it was to me. I realised that instead of having dark curtains, I could just have these light grey curtains, and they could lighten the whole room. I'm going with this dark blue, and these light grey curtains are going to look gorgeous. And at the same time, I found a rug that had exactly the tones that I wanted all of the colours to bring it all together. Also, it would lighten the dark wood floor. I'm like, hang on, this is all working. Well, what if I just couldn't get those cupboards painted in the colour that I wanted, those wardrobes? What if we just bought an off-the-shelf Dove Grey cupboard spray paint and did that ourselves, and we get a really good finish? Look, it's not going to look as dramatic as having them the same colour as the walls, but it is a solution. And here's where I became unattached. I thought to myself, you know what? I'm just going to buy that dark paint for the walls, and what will be will be. And I actually put it over to the universe. I said, universe, I know what I want, but I am prepared to compromise. I am prepared to see it in a different way. I'm prepared to be less attached, in fact, unattached to the outcome of these wardrobes. But you know what, universe? It would be really nice if you could find a solution for me. Perhaps a solution I haven't even thought of. And lo and behold, this morning, my builder showed up and we started to talk about the job. And I said, still trying to solve the problem of the wardrobes. And he just launched into how he was going to sand them, and he was going to prime them, and he was going to paint them. My husband's standing there. We're meeting, our eyes are meeting with this little side glance. And he's thinking, I don't need to do it. The builders are going to do it. And I'm thinking, I'm going to get my painted wardrobes with as good a finish as I could hope for within my price range. And literally, as we left the room, I high-fived my husband and I just said, I put that over to the universe. And I am so grateful and joyful today that this happened. And I'm telling you this story for two reasons. First of all, I'm telling you this because it's such an important lesson about becoming less attached to what it is that we so desperately want. And it's only in that non-attachment do we actually find solutions, and we open ourselves to the possibility of magic, for something unexpected and surprising to drop in. I certainly didn't think that the builder was going to just offer to do the job, because he'd been pretty clear that he wasn't going to do it. And yet, magic. And so much of being a very driven, ambitious female coach, or woman in general, is about holding on too tight. It's been something I've done my whole life. Perhaps you resonate. You just hold on really tight to what it is you want, thinking that that way is the only way. And by doing that, you're just not allowing and receiving the synchronicities and the surprises that the universe is ready and waiting to give us. It's like when you're clinging on so desperately to making that 2K, 5K, 8K, that first time, that first month. When you get so attached to a particular outcome with a particular client, that person needs to convert, that person needs to buy. Getting so attached to a particular outcome around converting a client or to selling a particular number of spots on your program, we can get so attached that we leave no space for miracles, no space for something unexpected and equally or even more wonderful to drop in, allowing ourselves to receive what the universe wants to give us rather than what we specifically say we need right here and right now. And I share this story with you for a second reason as well, which is the power of stories. If you've listened this far, you've obviously found the story interesting enough to keep listening, to find out how it ends. And this is what we do in our businesses. We tell stories that have a message, that have a teachable moment. We take our personal experiences and we turn them into our message. When I work with my clients, whether that's one-to-one or in my Time to Rise group program, we dive into the importance of stories. We actually collect our stories and are very intentional about what the moral, the lesson, the teachable moment is about those stories. Because I learned a long time ago that Story Teach Tool is a fantastic way to create transformation for your clients. You draw them in with the story. That's what we're made for. For humans, that's what we've done forever. That's us sitting around the campfire and sharing stories, passing stories from generation to generation, long before the written word and long before the internet was even a conception in the vortex. What we're talking about here is the power of stories to magnetize and to create transformation. Treasure your stories, collect them, record them, whether you write them down just as a quick bullet point or whether you like to write in long form, or maybe you just like to pick up your phone just like I do and record it with your voice. Make a note of what happens to you daily, the little things and the big things that matter, the things that have a resonance that people can relate to and people can understand clearly what your message is. And so it's time for me to put my phone down, turn my engine on and take this paint back to the builders because I'm all set for an outstanding day today and I'm going to welcome in more and more magical moments. Have an inspired action week. Take care. Bye now. I hope that you're enjoying Goals with Soul Be Magnetic Week. Make sure to tune in to all 7 episodes. And if you haven't yet accessed the free Magnetic Messaging Masterclass, head on over to the link now to sign up and access the training. You will learn how to discover your missing messaging piece to sign soul clients, raise your prices and stand out in your industry without self-doubt or wasting time and money on audience growth. You can get that at joannaingram.link/masterclass to start 2023 by manifesting your brand message.